other countries. Everybody knows that major leagues are on break just because of this virus. So our players are part of a bigger society. Their clubs are not playing. Nobody's playing football now. So we just pray that we have a quick resolution of the situation so that we can start playing football again. So we are part of a bigger situation.
Okay.
Football, sports generally is on hold everywhere. Basketball, football, everybody's putting sports on hold in their country. So we are not immune from all of this.
Okay, we've been speaking to Tony Bitoye, as the media officer of the Super Eagles. Before we let you go, and we must say thanks for speaking to us. Before we let you go once again, when will the league be resuming, and when should we expect football action in the country?
Football will resume all across the world, and in Nigeria particularly, once we are able to put this COVID-19 under control.
Okay.
So we'll wait to see what progress we make in terms of being able to curtail the spread and then make people recover from it, and then we can begin to talk about football.
All right, Tony Ibitoye is the media officer of the Super Eagles of Nigeria. I must say thank you for speaking to us, and we truly appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you so much for the opportunity.
And of course, just heard from the media officer of the Super Eagles. We'll go for a quick commercial break. When we come back, this says that the market value of Super Eagles attacking is Kelechi Iheanacho has risen from 12 million euros to 15 million euros in the Premier League latest transfer market value. And this is the updates from the transfer market and the take care of all the players in the English Premier League. When we also come back, all the stories making rounds in the ever-busy, ever-blazing world of sports. We'll be back.
They say things are tough. They say succeeding here is difficult. What they say may be true, but together we will be challenged by it. Because we all know the truth is based on what you see. And what we see is the hunger for success. The defiant promise to never go back, no matter what. And when we stumble, we will only fall forward. Fueled by the prayers of our loved ones, the hopes of 200 million people, and the big yellow heart pumping energy into us to break boundaries. So let them continue to tell you their truth while we take time to write ours. There's more within. Turn it up.
You are listening to Sports Drive with Joseph Atewe.
We break it first. Sports gist like no other.
All right, welcome back to the show Sport Drive on the Wave 91.7 FM. David, quickly you heard from the media officer of the Super Eagles, Tony Bitoye. What do you make of all he said? He spoke about the league, he spoke about the national teams, and he's saying that once the coronavirus is out of hand, that will come back.
Yeah, well, following the postponement of the NSF that's talking about Edo 2020, it was quite inevitable for the MPFL and other sporting activities across the country to be postponed as well. And this is being postponed indefinitely. You know, they're putting it off till the coronavirus pandemic can be brought under control. And looking at a possible 11 or 12 cases now in Nigeria, it's a good development. It's coming a little late, but it's a good development. You know, let everybody stay. Let big gatherings be put off, and let people just stay safe until we can be sure that we have everything under control. So
until
that
we find a lasting solution, you're trying to say.
Yes.
Okay, we spoke about Nigeria professional football. We told you that MFM FC at the Agege Township Stadium did the needful. 2 goals to 1, it's ended, and they got the maximum 3 points. Let's hear from the coach of the side. What is he saying?
Put in everything at that first half to be able to achieve our aim. At the end of the day, if not for the little error. And hopefully, we've seen 1 or 2 lapses again. We'll work on it. And the goal scoring has started coming. And that has been the major problem, to be able to solve that. I knew very well, because we've played against this team before, and I knew we're definitely going to win this game if we do the right thing, which the boys were able to do high pressing at the beginning, and we achieve our aim.
I just heard from the coach of MFMFC. We told you before the break that the market value of a Super Eagles attacking ace, Kelechi Iheanacho, has risen from 12 million euros to 15 billion euros in the Premier League's latest market value. The update on transfermarket.com. And I'm looking at Kelechi Iheanacho. You won't blame him. 12 to 15. He did wonderfully well. Before the coronavirus issue, he had scored 4 goals, if I'm correct, in I think less than 8 appearances in all competitions.
This season he had 8 goals and 4 assists for Leicester City. He played the role of super sub for them a lot of the time, coming on to get the equalizer against Aston Villa and I believe Brighton at some point. And he was also the front man when Jamie Vardy was off injured at times. So
and he delivered.
He delivered, yeah. That faith that Brendan Rodgers had in him has paid off for him, and he has been good this season, and that increase is actually quite good for him. It shows that he's improving and he can actually get to do better.
And so with more stories, it says a joint statement from the FA, the Premier League, the PFA and the LMA has confirmed a further delay to the return of football in England until at least Thursday the 30th of April due to the coronavirus outbreak. This is wrecking football. We've said that times without number, but we're looking at the implications. Now, if the league is to end this way, the Premier League will be owing more than 750 million euros. In pounds, you have 600 and something. Not too sure about the figures, but this is huge damage. This is a huge damage to the Premier League.
Oh yes, it's going to be a huge damage to the Premier League. They're going to have a lot of money to shell out after this is taken care of. But right now, they just have to. They have to adhere to this. They have to keep everybody back.
So that means fans will have to wait from the proposed date, which is
April 4th,
the 4th to the 30th.
To the 30th.
And it's not so certain.
Yes, that is pending if the pandemic is not put under control before then already. And we just want they're just trying to keep everybody safe. The fans, the players, and the team officials, just keep everybody safe. And anyway, there's still a very high chance that the seasons will be completed in all top 5 leagues since there is a shift of the Euro 2020 to now be Euro 2021. So there wouldn't be much worry. The season will still be completed, but everybody just has to stay safe for now and stay healthy.
All right, let's move to the Emirates Stadium, where Arsenal have announced that the first team coach Mikel Arteta, after contracted the deadly coronavirus, the club made this known in a statement. The club made this known in a statement released on the official website on Thursday. Also, the club announced that its London Colony training ground has been reopened after it was announced that Arteta contracted the coronavirus. This prompted the entire Gunners squad to go into self-isolation and subsequently the Premier League to suspend fixtures. As a precaution of Arsenal's London Colony training, the ground was also shut down to undergo a deep clean. What are they saying at this point? What is wrong with Mikel Arteta? Is he alive?
Yes, he's alive.
Okay.
He's getting better. He's getting better. He's getting better. According to his wife and other reports from the team, he's getting better. But what they're saying now is that they're opening their training ground for them to start training. So the players are going to be able to come in for training. The training ground has already undergone deep cleaning, and so it's safe apparently, and so they can now go in to train and keep fit. It's not going to be the same rigorous training as before, because now they get to spend time with their families and all. But they will be able to come into the training ground, train a few, and keep fit.
Let's move to the sad story, shall we? And this is Peter Whitingham, former Cardiff, Aston Villa and Blackburn midfielder, has died at the age of 35. He suffered head injuries, at a pub in Barry on the 7th of March from what Southwest Police have described as an accidental fall. Nottingham, who made more than 400 appearances for Cardiff between 2007 and 2017, won the championship in 2013 and reached 2 finals, the FA Cup in 2008 and the League Cup in 2012. I don't like what I'm seeing on Twitter. Some are saying, what is wrong with Cardiff? This man has died rather at the age of 35. If you remember Emiliano Sala, he wants to play for Cardiff.
Yes.
But died in that. Is it a plane crash? Will I call it a plane crash now?
It's a plane crash.
Let's not put Cardiff into this or bring them into this. Let's talk about this. This is a sad incident.
Yeah, it is a sad incident. And while it's not a death from the coronavirus that is plaguing the world, it is still a very sad one to see. He apparently the cause of death was head injuries due to an accidental fall, and it's really sad. It's sad for the whole for the world of sport and for the world of football, and may he so rest in peace, and condolences to his family.
Well, that is inevitable, so may so rest in peace. Let's move on to boxing. Dillian White should become the WBC heavyweight champion if there is an issue with Tyson Fury following fresh claims about his failed drug test in 2015, says promoter Eddie Hearn. But what do you make of that? Tyson Fury, Anthony Joshua, we are anticipating, but we know, what's his name right now? Anthony Joshua is to take on Kubrat Pulev. But then let's talk about Tyson. What is wrong with him?
Well, there's fresh claims about his failed drug test in 2015. The farmer that came to testify back then said the people in Tyson Fury's law corner were actually paid him to give false testimony about the wild boar. Anyway, he just said that they paid him to lie or to give false testimony. To give false testimony, and so this could affect Tyson Fury's recent claiming of the titles. And I honestly do not support what Eddie Hearn is saying, that the belt should go to Dillian White. What has he done to correctly deserve it? Give it back to Deontay Wilder. Have people fight for it.
But we are still waiting. We're watching. We're waiting
that's
patiently.
What I'm saying. In case things go sour for Tyson Fury, then there should be a fight for that belt, not just hand it over to somebody.
We have less than 3 minutes to say bye on the show. Let's talk about Sommer, former president of Trabzonspor. He has slammed the club over Mikel's the termination rather of Mikel's contract. What do you make of Mikel's contract being terminated? For me, do I think this is wickedness?
I don't know. The Turkish league has decided not to suspend the league. They've decided to continue playing behind closed doors. And Mikel spoke out against it on his Instagram that he wasn't feeling okay. He wasn't okay with the fact that he still had to play. And Sommer, the former president of Trabzonspor, has come out to defend Mikel Ubi, and he has said that it's not right that football is a contact sport, and the major way
when you score a goal, you have to celebrate.
You have to celebrate, and even just coming in contact with other players is a risk. Forgetting the goal scoring. Football is a contact sport, and the players are going to come in contact with each other. So he's saying that it's not wise to suspend Mikel's contract. That they should give it back to him, and the league should be suspended.
I think I agree with you. If you look at what happened in Italy, Rugani was tested positive. The recent stories coming out from Italy states that Blaise Matuidi has also tested positive. And other players
and players from other teams. I believe Hellas Verona already has one confirmed case of one of their players. Parma as well. So it's not smart to have these players continue to play, even if it's behind closed doors, because there is no assuring that these players are safe.
We have to say our byes, but once again, the English football has suspended all football activities until at least the 30th of April. And in other sports, this says anything is possible, but too early to decide. And this is coming from the president of the Olympics Federation, call on course to cancel the Olympics. We have to say our byes. Thank you, David Ada, for being a part of the show.
Always a pleasure to be on.
Your social media handle, how can they follow you quickly?
_ITZ_FLUX.
Thank you. And of course, also a big thanks to the media officer of the Super Eagles who joined us earlier on the show. Atoyin Ibitoye, he joined us live from Lagos. Thank you for being a part of the show. My name is Joseph Atewa, saying thanks for listening. On Facebook, it is Joseph Atewa, the age. On Instagram, it is Atewa44. And on Twitter, it is at Atewa Joseph. We're back tomorrow morning for the last installment for the week. Sport Vibes on Wave 91.7 FM. And until then, remember, in everything you do, keep talking sports. Bye for now.
Shabba, 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 eh. Shabba, oh, eh. Yeah. That girl would be do like tools. Yeah. I feel to rest my head on her chest all day. Alright. She they always make me confused. Want to lay my head on her chest all day. Love me, love me, love me, love me, love me. Tease me, baby. Oh, touch me, touch me, touch me, touch me, touch me. Give me kissy, baby. Yeah. Girl, I for carry you city, my. But thing go tell you to Sanko. I feel to take you see Mr. Flavor, but thing go tell you to Sawale. I can't lie to you. I like the techno, go tell you to do road. And if you want to see Bengali, that's not emergency. Emergency. That's not emergency. Good, better, or worse, baby, I'll be there for you. When you think you lost, baby, I will show you the way. Monica, I take you on a journey, show you around Africa. All I ask is for you to love me, love me, love me, love me, love me. Tease me, baby. Oh, touch me, touch me, touch me, touch me, touch me.
Now. Sound is everything.
The new definition of culture, quality, and sound on the airwaves.
91.7 Wave FM.
From the amazing radio channel, Rave 91.7 FM. It's 6 p.m.
This is the news at 6 on Rave 91.7 FM.
Here are the top stories of the news. 4 coronavirus cases confirmed in Lagos State. Senators support bill seeking to make election debates compulsory. On the foreign scene, death toll from coronavirus in Spain rises to 767. Good evening and welcome to the news at 6 on Rave 91.7 FM. My name is Damilola Raphael. Now the details. The Lagos State Commissioner for Health, Akin Abayomi, has confirmed 4 new cases of the coronavirus pandemic in the state, bringing the total number of cases confirmed in the country to 12. This comes one day after the Federal Ministry of Health confirmed 5 new cases of COVID-19 in the country. Speaking at a news briefing, Professor Abayomi said 19 tests were performed on suspected cases and contacts of the 5 cases announced yesterday, out of which 4 turned positive. The first positive test is that of a Nigerian female who returned from France via a Turkish airline on the 14th of March. Another confirmed case is a Nigerian male in his 50s who had never traveled anywhere, while one is a Nigerian male who arrived in Nigeria on the 13th of March from Frankfurt, Germany, on Lufthansa flight. Professor Abayomi said the ministry was tracking over 1,300 people in relation to COVID-19. The commissioner said the Italian who brought coronavirus to Nigeria now tests negative, adding that he will be tested one more time and will be released if he tests negative again. Meanwhile, in Katsina State, the Ministry of Health has said the suspected case of coronavirus announced yesterday has tested negative. State Commissioner of Health, Yakubu Danja, who made the disclosure during a news conference, called for calm and asked residents of the state to remain informed about COVID-19 and avoid spreading unverified information, especially on social media.
And I am pleased to inform you that the result is out and it is negative. Therefore, Katsina State, for now, has no case of COVID-19. I would like to use this opportunity to call on the good people of Katsina State to keep calm and to remain informed about updates on the information of COVID-19 and to avoid spreading rumors and unverified informations, especially through social media.
Mr. Danja appealed to the general public to maintain a high level of personal and environmental hygiene, such as hand washing, use of alcohol-based sanitizers, and avoid mass social gathering except where necessary. The Nigeria Governors Forum has set up a 7-member subcommittee to review the trend of the coronavirus and global drop in oil price, as well as advise state government on required measures to address the challenges on the economy. Chairman of the NGF, Governor Kayode Fayemi of Ekiti State, disclosed this while reading the communique issued after the forum's meeting in Abuja. He said that the committee, to be chaired by Governor Nasir El-Rufai of Kaduna State, is expected to submit its report as soon as possible. Governor Fayemi also expressed the governor's pledge to work with the Ministry of Health to set up functional test and isolation centers in each state in Nigeria.
The forum received an update on COVID-19 pandemic from the Honorable Minister of Health and his team, Dr. Osagie Hanire. Governors pledged to work with the Ministry of Health to set up functional test and isolation centers in every state in the country. After an extensive discussion of the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic and falling oil prices on the Nigerian economy and the revenues of state governments, the forum constituted a subcommittee consisting of the governors of Kaduna, Kebbi, Ebonyi, Ogun, Nasarawa, Edo, and Jigawa to comprehensively review the trend and advise state governments on the set of actions required to address challenges in our economy.
Fielding questions on the call by the Senate that President Muhammadu Buhari should address the nation on coronavirus, the Ekiti State Governor said what the nation needed was regular information and not necessarily from the President. At the National Assembly, following the outbreak of the coronavirus in the country, the Senate is suspending all public hearings from Tuesday, the 24th of March, until further notice. The upper chamber is also suspending excursions to the National Assembly, as well as shutting the Senate gallery where visitors and journalists observe plenary proceedings until further notice. These decisions were announced by the President of the Senate, Ahmed Lawan, during plenary today. Senator Lawan, however, did not announce the suspension of plenary sessions in the Senate. Meanwhile, a bill seeking to make election debates compulsory for presidential and governorship candidates has scaled second reading at the Senate. Sponsored by Abdul Fattah Buhari, who represents Oyo North, the bill also seeks to mandate the vice presidential and deputy governorship candidates to participate in such debates. The bill empowers the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, to organize mandatory debates for the candidates to help boost and strengthen the electoral process. In Ekiti State, the House of Assembly has suspended its legislative activities indefinitely as part of the measures to contain the spread of coronavirus. Speaker of the House, Funmi Afuye, announced this during today's plenary in Ado Ekiti, the state capital. Chairman of the House Committee on Health, Teju Okunyiga, had, under a matter of urgent public importance, informs the House of a reported case of COVID-19 in the state. She called for precautionary measures to contain the further spread of the disease, and other members of the House also called for the shutdown of schools and other public places in the state for now. Here in Osun State, Commissioner for Environment and Sanitation, Shola Oladepo, has called on traders to take the weekly environmental sanitation seriously, as the state government will punish offenders. Speaking to Rave FM News, the commissioner said the state government has been working to checkmate the spread of COVID-19 in the state by enforcing sanitation.
Our enforcement agents are on. They are there 24 hours all the time. It's not because it's Thursday alone. So they might have not gotten to the place where you went, but we are sure before the end of the day, not even after the 10 o'clock, there's always an indication to show whether they worked there or not. And if they are not doing it, we will enforce. The problem we have with enforcement, by the time you enforce, it is the same. There are our political groups that will be coming out and be begging and then also. But governor has given us a standard. We should make sure that we do the needful.
Mr. Oladipo also urged residents to practice proper hygiene to prevent the spread of COVID-19. In other news, another body has been discovered at the scene of the explosion which rocked Abule Ado in Amuwo Odofin local government area of Lagos State. The explosion, which occurred on the 15th of March, led to the loss of lives and the destruction of several cars and houses. In a statement today, Director General of Lagos State Emergency Management Agency, Olufemi Oke Osanyitolu, said another corpse has been discovered, bringing the death toll to 21. He said 468 persons were displaced from their homes and that 100 of them are now in relief camp, while 2 are missing. After the explosion, Governor of Lagos State, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, set up a 2 billion naira emergency relief fund for victims of the incident. To legal matters, the Court of Appeal in Abuja has affirmed Ifeanyi Ubah as the senator representing Anambra South Senatorial District. Justice Stephen Ada held that the judgment of the lower court which sacked Senator Ubah is a nullity. Justice Bello Kawu of the Federal Capital Territory High Court had voided Senator Ubah's election in April 2019 on the grounds that he presented a forged National Examination Council NECO certificate to INEC. Delivering the judgment, the appeal court held that the right of the appellants to fair hearing was breached by the trial court. President Muhammadu Buhari has launched the National Broadband Plan 2020 to 2025 in Abuja, intended to deepen internet penetration in the country. The president expressed concern about the challenges faced by operators in the country, particularly vandalism of telecommunications equipment. He assured the operators of government's commitment to ensuring that all stakeholders have a conducive environment to ensure the successful implementation of the broadband plan, which seeks to boost broadband penetration as well as support the deployment of 4G across the country.
The digital economy will also support us in fighting corruption through digitalization and enabling government digital services. Digital technologies have become a useful platform for economic diversification. Having recognized the benefits of these technologies, we have decided to adopt the digital economy paradigm early. This informed our decision to expand the schedule of the Federal Ministry of Communication to include the digital economy mandate in line with global best practices.
President Buhari also commissioned the National Emergency Call Center, which is expected to link Abuja residents with the police, fire service, federal road safety officials during an emergency. The emergency number 112 is toll-free. Ministry of Communications and Digital Economy, which is in charge of the project, said it is working to link the Nigeria Center for Disease Control to the call center in light of the coronavirus outbreak sweeping through the world. On the foreign scene, African countries have been told to prepare for the West by the head of the World Health Organization following the spread of the coronavirus. In all, 17 deaths have been reported on the continent. Africa has been the least affected continent, but health experts warn that strained public health systems could become quickly overwhelmed. Head of the WHO, Tedros Ghebreyesus, said other countries have shown how the virus actually accelerates after a certain tipping point.
This virus is presenting us with an unprecedented threat, but it's also an unprecedented opportunity to come together as one against a common enemy, an enemy against humanity.
Mauritius confirmed its first 3 cases of coronavirus today. 2 of the 3 cases involve cruise ship workers aged 21 and 25, while the third is a traveler from the United Kingdom aged 59. In the meantime, Spain has said the death toll from the coronavirus rose by 209 to 767 fatalities overnight, as Russia announced that a 79-year-old woman with the virus was recorded as the country's first confirmed death resulting from the pandemic. Turkey also reported its first 2 deaths related to the pandemic and announced its confirmed cases rose to 191. Italy, the country most affected by the coronavirus outside China, reported a further 475 deaths from COVID-19 as the world stepped up efforts against the pandemic by closing schools, shutting down cities, and imposing strict border controls. The United Kingdom was the latest to announce it would close schools, with Prime Minister Boris Johnson saying it wasn't a bid to contain the disease at the right time.
Those sorts of restrictions on people in this country, but I have to tell you, we will rule nothing out.
While the United States has approved anti-malaria drug chloroquine for use as a treatment against the new coronavirus, President Donald Trump said the Food and Drug Administration would ensure that the drug is made available almost immediately. However, an FDA spokesperson said the drug had not been approved for use in COVID-19 patients. China, where the virus first emerged, confirmed it had no new domestic cases for the first time since the outbreak began, a major milestone. But it reported 34 new cases amongst people who recently returned to China. Nearly 220,000 people have now been confirmed with the coronavirus globally, and while at least 84,000 people have recovered from COVID-19, more than 8,800 have died.
And now for business news.
Talking business now, and economist Tunji Ogunyemi has dismissed the federal government's decision to reduce the oil benchmark in the 2020 budget as mere cosmetic. He was speaking today in Frankfurt, a Rave FM news and current affairs interview program, where he affirmed that the current economic situation in the country caused by the coronavirus pandemic was frightening. Dr. Ogunyemi stated that in order to protect the naira, the government should refrain from blaming external forces, stating that instead of borrowing, they should rather reduce expenditure.
It means a lot. But first, it actually means that we will not be able to sell our oil as produced. That's the first. China alone is 17% of what commerce and trade. And so if China is not buying oil, which is Nigeria's principal export, it's not the only export, but it is the export that generates not less than 75% of our foreign exchange, then it's going to mean that we will significantly have to suffer for it in terms of budget balance. That's very frightening. The truth is that we are in dire straits.
The federal government had yesterday reduced the 10.59 trillion naira 2020 budget by 1.5 trillion naira as part of measures to respond to the impact of coronavirus on the economy. The House of Representatives has given the chief executive officers of telecommunication service providers a 7-day ultimatum to appear before its committee in finance. If they fail to appear, the lawmakers threatened to issue an arrest warrant on the CEOs. Chairman of the committee, James Faleke, heard as the plenary today reported to the House via a motion unanimously adopted that several invites to 15 telecoms operators, including MTN Nigeria, Glow Mobile Limited, Airtel Nigeria, to appear before them had been shunned. Representative Faleke said their non-appearance was frustrating the investigation by the committee of the alleged $30 billion leakages in the sector due to alleged foreign exchange frauds. The Speaker, Femi Gbajabiamila, stated that the House would exercise its powers on the firms if they fail to comply with the last summons issued to them.
This is Spotlight.
English Football will be suspended until at least the 30th of April because of the continued spread of coronavirus. All games in England's Premier League, EFL, Women's Super League and Women's Championship and all fixtures in Scotland, Wales and Northern Ireland are currently postponed. The Football Association has also agreed that the current season can be extended indefinitely. Under current rules, the season had been scheduled to end on the 1st of June. A joint statement expressed a commitment to finding ways of resuming the 2019-2020 season and completing all domestic and European matches as soon as it is safe and possible to do so. The postponement of Euro 2020 has opened up a window for domestic league fixtures to take place in June. Meanwhile, Arsenal say head coach Mikel Arteta is feeling much better after testing positive for coronavirus last week and has resumed planning and is speaking to players. The club have also confirmed the reopening of his first team training center and the academic development center, both of which were closed for deep cleaning following Arteta's diagnosis. A number of staff, including the head coach and the men's first team squad, are also currently isolating at home. The mandatory self-isolation period concludes on the 24th of March.
Now, entertainment news.
The Actors Guild of Nigeria says it will hold stakeholders meeting to address the controversy that trailed the recent appointment of Senator representing Adamawa North, Elisha Abo, as patron of the body. National President of the Guild, Emeka Rolles Ejezie, disclosed this to newsmen in Abuja. Abo was installed as a patron of the AGN at its 9th biennial lecture held on the 11th of March. The lawmaker's appointment has stirred unpleasant reactions on social media from some industry watchers and players, including some female members of the association who argued that he was not suitable for such position. Kate Henshaw and Hilda Jacobo had hitched their argument on a viral video that emerged on the internet where the lawmaker was seen beating a nursing mother in a sex toy shop in Abuja last year. Consequently, some Northern actors were said to have threatened to leave the guild if Abo is removed as a patron of the group. As a result of this, the AGN president said the guild was to hold stakeholders meeting on the 23rd of March in Lagos to address all views and objections concerning the appointment of its patrons. He, however, frowned at the decision of some of the guild's members to express their opinions and displeasure on social media. In the meantime, Nigerian actress Toyin Abraham has released the trailer for her forthcoming movie, Fate of Alakada.